Hello everybody, my name is Will, and welcome back to From the Depths. It's been a good long time since the last video, and that's a fairly good reason. I've been working on other games, obviously, as my channel tends to do, but also, I've built a battleship. Last time I said that I wasn't going to be building, like, full ships in videos, and then I lied. This, obviously, as you can tell, is actually a little bit shorter than our supercruiser that we designed last time, but rather than just going for a flat upgrade over the supercruiser here, we've gone for a different style. So these are big old rail guns, obviously firing 305mm guns. We've seen what these can do in the last video. They're incredibly effective. This is actually a cram. So, as you can see, this is a 2000mm cram cannon. I have changed the barrels to actually be advanced cannon barrels just by doing decos, because I think they look a little bit nicer like this. But generally speaking, this is a really heavy cram ship. So let's just show you what it can do. And as you can see, it's not quite finished, but it's close enough to a point where I can probably honestly spawn this into the campaign. It'll do pretty well. And it's also cheaper. So this is only 1.5 million materials. This is 2.17. So you can see we're saving about 600,000 materials if we pick to choose a battleship over this thing. And for most purposes, this is going to be more than sufficient. Anyway, let's just get rid of the supercruiser here and go see what the battleship can do. So, I don't want to give away a little bit too much about this thing straight away, because we are going to go through the actual building stages of this in a second, but as you can see, we've got 8 of these massive cram cannons, and if we spawn in something which is fairly big, let's not worry about particularly power, let's go for the bulwark, because that's just a lot of metal. You can see that we are going to fire these really big shells, and they do quite a lot. They've missed because the whole ship bounced when it got hit, but you can see that even with those couple of pretty bad shots, to be entirely honest, that was 715,000 damage. And then also we've got these missiles, and their shots did very little in return. We have some pretty thick armor on this. That's kind of the benefit of this ship versus the cruiser, is the sheer width of it, not necessarily the length, and these are aiming really high for some reason. Normally they aim a little bit more centrally on the ship, so maybe I've messed something up with the AI, but generally you can tell they're doing a lot of damage. This is going to be a really good weapon to have if we're fighting a very slow enemy. It might deal with the target quicker than the supercruiser if it can get a kill on that first salvo, or at least an effective kill. And obviously, for the amount of money that we're saving by going with cram cannons rather than advanced cannons, there's definitely some financial incentives behind it. But you can also see we've got a couple torpedoes. We've splashed out on other expensive things to kind of fill the entire offensive arsenal, rather than just going just for cram cannons, because that would leave it pretty vulnerable. One thing we are a bit weak against naturally is just fast-moving targets. Anything that's particularly quick, we are going to struggle with. But let's not blab about this thing for too long, and let's show the building stages, because I know some people are really interested in that. So yeah, as per usual, this is the first stage that I started with on the build. Obviously, you can see there's kind of like a skeletal structure that I do. So I have like a vertical cross-section and a horizontal cross-section, and between those two you can kind of get an idea of the dimensions of your ship before you get building. That's just handy to know, like, okay, I want a gun that fills like, 18 blocks or whatever. I know how deep my ship needs to be. Let's make sure that the length and the width feel proportional, because sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to do that if you don't do this step. Also here, I got a little bit carried away and forgot to save, so you can see the whole front half of the hull is done. And yeah, I mean, it's not a complex shape for this one. It's very slab-sided, but that's kind of by design, because obviously if you've got turrets in here, you want as much armor as possible going quite low below the waterline so that they don't blow up. When you get hit, yeah. And then this was the finished hull. You can definitely see the shape of the ship coming through here. Also here at the back, you can see I've got a little bit of an interesting thing going on. I don't really know what I was going for, but I ended up using these poles here as mounts for the propeller, which is kind of handy to have. Not really much else to write home about this stage, though, just completing the overall shape. Next, I just like to space out my turrets like this. I turn on the don't apply connection rules mode, and just put these little crosses where I want the turret spaces to be, and then you can get an idea of how much armor you're going to be able to get in. So you can see here there's like 7 blocks between the turret and the wall of the ship, so that gives us plenty of space for armor. A lot more armor than we could get in the cruiser or any of the other ships we've built, basically. And then I go ahead, build a massive box of heavy alloys, basically. I don't worry about the turret itself at this stage, because I know that ultimately it's going to have to fit in a square hole. Also here you can see I've added a little bit of torpedo protection on the outside. This is mostly actually for a little bit of added buoyancy, but obviously it will work as armor as well. But since it's alloy on the outside, basically anything that hits this is going to shear it off. It's just a little bit of extra buoyancy. And this is normally one of the stages that takes the longest on the ship. You can see here we've put in the actual functional parts of the turrets. So if I just go into my sub-assemblies here, I spent a lot of time working on this turret because I have never done a cram Tetris in 3D before. It's been a long time since I used a cram cannon, and here it is. I think this is okay as a cram cannon. If I connect the firing piece here, you can see how this Tetris all kind of works when I press P. Give it a second. You can see as we go down, like the whole of one side is dedicated to one cannon, and then this side is dedicated to the other. They're not quite perfectly even between the two. I needed to do a little bit of a better job of making sure that they were. I think it's this row here that's doing it, but yeah, it's not the end of the world. They're close enough, and let's face it, my ships are not the best, so yeah, it's an acceptable casualty. As you can tell, I've also decided to do a little bit of armor in here, so we've just got a couple of layers of alloy. This is to both provide armor stacking to the metal on the outside and also to prove as a bit of buoyancy. And then here on this heavy metal section, we've added beam slopes. Is that what these are called? Yeah, beam slopes, and these should provide us a little bit of an air gap, hopefully. Down here, also you can see the AI, just, you know, wrapped in rubber, and also heavy metal, but, you know, rubber mostly. But yeah, this was also the first iteration of the ship that did actually kind of work. I mean, at the moment, it's not really showing that, but it does float and it can shoot. And I was doing this just to make sure that I was doing the cannons right. And as you can see here, with a reload of 8 seconds, I absolutely was not. Do not worry, I fixed that. And this is where I fixed the cannon. So you can see the reload is 20.8 seconds here, and it's definitely a lot closer to the shape that you saw on the final thing. We got a couple detection systems. We got a laser munition system on here just for little missiles and stuff. This is where we start adding a couple of our own missiles as well, interceptors and secondary guns. These are pretty beefy secondary guns here. On this design, these were meant to be used against ships as like a little heat shell to support the main cram cannons. I do swap them back to close-in weapon systems because they are far more effective as flat cannons, and they do work quite well as a close-in weapon system. They're not the best in the world, but they'll do. And finally, as it loads in, that brings us to where we are now. You can see we've done a little bit of decking work. This ship still sinks when you don't have the AI on. That's something I would kind of like to rework, get a little bit more alloy in there to get it to float. But in order to make sure that this thing is adequately protected, there is a lot of heavy armor in this design, and it is still a little squishy versus, you know, really high power rail guns, which is, I guess, to go without saying, but yeah, it can still just like lose a turret a little easier than I would like. There are some hidden heavy metal blocks here. You can see that when I just do that, they are decoed out, so you can't see them, but there is a little bit more armor on these turrets than initially meets the eye. I just want to make sure that this thing is reasonably tanky against most enemies we'll see, well, in this episode, because we're probably going to spawn this thing into the campaign right now. So that is the Battleship as it stands. I will probably, I think I'm ready to actually upload this to the workshop as is. It will get updates on the workshop as I work on it, but this initial version that you see here will probably be the one that you download if you're watching this video the day that it comes out. So if you do want to have a look at this, provide me any feedback, then, you know, you can do that. It'll be linked in the description below, as well as my Discord, where you can flame me for being terrible at building boats, but yeah. This is the decorations at the moment. Feel free to give it a name. That would be, useful, but I would have to rename the steep. It's fine. Don't give me a name. I may or may not use it. We'll find out. Okay, I'm just getting to remember where we were in this campaign. We're pushing against the white flares at the moment. We have a supercruiser moving up north here. It's burning quite a lot of resources. We've got to give it some more supplies as we go. This is a cruiser, and obviously another one of the supercruisers, the cruiser, inventively named. Got a task force. Okay, I remember where we are now. That's good. It does look like our destroyer flotilla might be in a little bit of danger here if we don't get this cruiser up quickly. Okay, the force that was amassing we have encountered with the Edwin here. That is a lot of ships, but I'm fairly confident we should be alright here. So there is something that's 500,000 materials in there, and I'm not entirely sure. I think it's that one there. So it's not spawned in just yet. We do need to be wary of the fact that a couple of these craft, and I think that one there may have it, they do have nukes on. So just gotta be a little bit careful. Yeah, like that, that they don't get too close. AI dead on that one. These little wreckers are not going to be too much of a problem versus these massive Sabo rounds. Oh, that feels like it definitely has nukes on board. Get that, please. Oh, dear. Okay, it didn't. My fears weren't unfounded, though. It's close enough for its flamer, but, yep, that's not going to help it. And I don't actually know if anything's spawned in at the moment, which is odd. I'm assuming that means the Thrasher is going to spawn in now. And indeed, it has. I don't think we're going to struggle too much with this one because it's got 2 advanced cannons, and as soon as these Sabo rounds get through that armor into the advanced cannon, it's going to be a catastrophic detonation. We just need to stop aiming at the very front there. That is a much better spot for us to be firing at. Come on. Just go through. Stop firing at weird things. Okay, I'm going to take manual control here because I really, really need it to just get in there and take out these turrets because they are genuinely dangerous if they do get through. I don't think they will, but if they do. And it looks like they are sinking, so they're going to stop being a threat any second now. Yeah, that'll do. And are we okay? Yeah, looks like they didn't get through. That's good. Thrasher is down. We've got a guillotine, which isn't going to prove particularly scary, especially at this range. It needs to be a little bit closer if you're going to do anything. Oh, that's definitely a nuke craft, isn't it? It's immediately gone into the water, so I think we may have taken out something quite important there. There goes the nuke. Oh, and a lot of lag from the frag shells of that guillotine going up. And finally, just a little submarine that isn't even going to get underwater before we absolutely destroy it. So there we go. That's the biggest force they've amassed so far, and it's not really done anything to us. For some reason, this Harrow has decided to attack my cruiser solo. I don't even think we'll see them before they're gone. Oh, look at that. They're pulling some fancy maneuvers. Yep. Very nice. Good. Good job, buddy. It nearly worked. Currently, it seems that the only things that they can send to us are these Harrows. This is the 3rd one that I will have killed in a very, very short time frame. Okay, we have just a flayed monastery to take, and this is where the headquarters are, just around the corner. So we're getting very, very close to the home base of the White Flares here. I didn't even get my camera close enough to see it before it was dead. Yeah. Currently, the only things I see coming in and out of the Gorgon are supply vessels, so it's looking like the mighty White Flares are no longer quite as mighty as they once were. This is 5 of these Repentances versus the Tidehold and the Gorgon. This will be the last stand of the White Flares. And these guys are just cargo vessels, so they don't really hold much of a chance. But I would quite like to see the main fortress once that spawns in. Oh, there was a wrecker. I didn't see that. But, well, there's not a wrecker anymore, so... It's still crazy to me that I built that, because I'm still so used to everything that I build being pretty useless. And I genuinely feel like this is not useless, you know? What is going on here? I just thought I'd have a look at the tithe hold because I realized it had spawned in while we're just, you know, out there destroying all of their vessels. And this is insanity. What? Oh, okay. Here come the armor-piercing shells. It's already AI dead. That's unfortunate because it looked really weird. And here it is, the Gorgon. Oh, this is really cool. It's got big advanced cannons in the towers here, which are really, really nice. I love, like, castle builds in games where there really aren't meant to be castles for some reason. It's just satisfying to me. But, yeah, it seems to be melting quite quickly. We've still got 99% of our health, so we can't have lost anything too important. At most, maybe a secondary weapon. These are reasonably powerful advanced cannons, but it doesn't take a lot of shots to kill them, because as you can see, it's like 2 layers of an alloy at the thickest, and that's it. So, yeah, this won't be too much of a competition. I think the strongest thing they sent to me might be long gone now. A little bit concerned who I'll be fighting next, because we're getting to the point where it's going to be maybe even the Grey Talons, Steel Striders, or Scarlet Dawn, and I am still quite scared of them. In come the missiles. That missile decided it didn't want to hit, I guess, and the Gorgon is now on low health, thus should end the white flares. It's the chairs of the white flares. Oh, there go the chairs of the white flares. False idols! Yep. The white flares are, in fact, dead. That is, good and bad. Right, we got a lot of territory to capture. I better get to work. Okay, I have done a lot of expanding here. You can see we've managed to get most of the land there. We own well over half of the map now. But there's only so many people we can go to war with now. We can do the Twin Guard for free. We can join the Steel Striders against the Twin Guard for free. We can join the Scarlet Dawn versus everyone, fight everyone, or just Twin Guard. Wow. It's very much looking like it's gonna be Twin Guard, isn't it? We may as well just take these guys one at a time if we can. So, Twin Guard it is. Luckily, I thought about this, and while the Edwin is over here, in case we went to war with the Scarlet Dawn, there is the cruiser over here. Oh, that's a fortress. The cruiser over here, which should be able to fairly quickly put a stop to any southwardly push of the Twin Guard. Okay, immediately they have pushed past my lines and gone straight for the zones here. They are just skirting around this fortress for now. What I want to do is take on this Audacious if I can, because that is a pretty hefty target that I do not want to let slip by. You can see it's 700,000 resources almost. And over here we've also got just our little guy, the Alarmed. So we'll see how we do. I'm hopeful that we should be okay, because this isn't the Cram Cannon battleship. This is our supercruiser with the advanced cannons. So fast-moving targets, not really a threat for this guy. That is the Alarmed over there, and it seems to be upside down, which is interesting. Not entirely what I expected. It's also dodging up and down quite a lot. I don't know if that's intended or if it's just slightly damaged and it's struggling with its PIDs, but either way, it's making it quite hard to hit. Oh, these Twin Guard designs are so cool. My good God. What? It just nuked itself, I guess. Sure, why not? This seems reasonable enough to me. We're going to aim for the actual body here because the torso seems to be pretty much out of action, and this is ultimately the craft is this bit here, not this bit here. And there goes the torso anyway. The actual body, I can't imagine is going to last too much longer. Sorry, I flew back because I thought we were on a sandbank, and now I'm just giving you a bad view of the battle, but yeah, they're not really firing back at this point in time. We're just kind of waiting until they die. I'm going to use this opportunity while it is just floundering and not really doing anything. We're going to continue to stay in the battle, but as you can see, I've just turned off the weapons so that our railguns aren't using our energy, and this way we should be able to have all of our guns ready to go when the other guy spawns in, wherever they've got to. You can see we do generate energy quite quickly when we don't have the guns on. I think, honestly, I'm probably about ready to turn the guns back on now. There they go. Okay, where is the last guy? They are the other side of us? Okay, there we go. That would be them. That is... Oh, that's a chunky plane. I mean, we've just cut its entire wing off somehow, which is... Yep, that's good for us, and they're quick, so those fire missiles are actually going to do quite a lot of work. Looks like they had a pretty hefty bomb arsenal there. They have gone through the heavy armor, but they haven't taken out one of my cannons. So hopefully we can take out most of its weapons, or it, before it gets another one of those chances. Though anything it does hit us with is going to be on the other side. So hopefully it won't go in the gap that they've made. Come on, guns, you just got to aim a little bit higher. We have gun velocity. It's not really a problem predicting this. I think some of the weapon types are hit scan, but definitely not advanced cannons. And there goes something important at the back there. Looks like it's struggling just about to stay in the air. There's still enough going on that thing that it can probably fire back, but it's definitely not looking good for the Audacious. There we go. Low health. Yep, that's definitely the most threatening thing we've seen so far. I would like to get some repairs on the cruiser, ideally, because of this hole here. But ultimately, I think so long as we remember to face the left-hand side towards the enemy, we could take on a couple more enemies, even if we don't get to repair. So I'll rush over a supply plane, but we should be good. No time for repairs. We're going for a fortress controlled by the Twin Guard. This shouldn't be too bad. We've got 2 Terravors, which have... they have little plasma cannons, but they're nothing too bad. And one of these Enigma swarms. I think both of these we've taken out on this series before, actually. That is the main bot done for. I think ultimately that's the most scary thing at the moment, the Terravor. But it won't be for too long. Don't worry about that. There we go. Internal explosion on board. Oh, that's a lot of stuff coming off. And AI dead. Handy indeed. We should not struggle too much with these nanobots either, to be entirely honest, because these are... They're not too evasive. Not too bad. Yeah, they're going down in droves. We are not struggling too much with these guys. Cool. And it is AI dead. There we go. Battles won, and damage. Once again, it's like the exact opposite side to where that is, but nothing too bad. We're all good there. Yep, we'll live. I was just about to say, I'm only seeing these swarms, and I just saw something up north, so I'm just going to wipe out 2 more Terravors and one of these Enigma swarms, and then we will take a look at what that is. I think that was even quicker than last time. Nice. So this is what I saw. We've got an Assertiveness, an Impulse, Amusement, Havoc Swarm, Curiosity, and the Vivaci? I don't... one of those pronunciations. And, yeah, they're a little bit close to the damaged cruiser. Ideally, I'd like to get that repaired before I take on that whole swarm. But in the meantime, on the other flank, Edwin can take out 2 more Terravors. It's becoming a full-time job killing these things. There we go. Spawn them both in this time versus my cruiser. I don't think it's really going to matter. I still don't think they really stand much of a chance. That's one of them already AI dead. And that one has detonated. We're just waiting for the AI dead. Come on. There we go. There it's gone. Just this little thing? Don't know what it is. Looks like a plane. Hello, so what are you? Oh, there's 3 of yous. Okay, fair enough. Are you gonna be particularly scary, or are you mostly here for effect? I'm imagining they're gonna drop... Oh no, they've got cannons. Oh, they transform into something when they're above me. That could be troubling, actually. The cannons should be able to aim pretty far upwards, but there's a chance that I can't hit them. And they've got particle cannons. These things could be pretty dangerous, to be entirely honest. So there goes that one. We just got Beta and Theta to go. Come on. Looks like they've got EMP, which not really been strongly tested against EMP too much yet. None of the enemies that we've fought so far really make great use of it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we fare against EMP. I think one of them has a cram cannon, which is just not even getting close. It's immediately getting zapped by our defenses. Theta is really burning, which is hopefully going to mean that it dies fairly soon. Once the last of these guys is the only thing remaining, we shouldn't have too many troubles killing it, because it won't have repairs, which is currently quite a nuisance that these guys provide. It's hard to keep my camera on these guys without dipping it into the water. Oh, one of them's exploded. See? That's how hard it is. I didn't even notice that I'd killed one of them. And that looks like the other one is probably out of action. Yep. There we go. Not too bad. We seem to be okay. The Assertiveness has attacked us, which is 200k of enemy, and I've faced the wrong side towards it, which is not exactly smart of me, but we should be okay. They seem to be aiming at the front, which is good. If they aim at the back, that's where our weak spot at the moment is. It's just currently falling out of the sky. I don't think it's meant to be doing this. Ooh, we nearly got rammed by it, which... is really weird. I think my laser defenses are zapping their munition defenses, which is a bit weird. And oh, we're so close to taking off their entire wing. That would have been so cool. I don't think it's going to happen, though. We're just not quite aiming for it right now. If I manually aim the guns, just maybe, yes! Took off the whole wing, yeah! Yeah, eat that. Nothing can keep the PBS cruiser down. Not even this hole straight into my gun. Okay, we could take out the Twin Guard right here, right now, because we are next to the Hive with the Edwin. But they have this force, and I believe it's only fair that I give them a chance to at least damage the cruiser here. And we'll just see how this plays out. So we've got a Joy, we have an Amusement. Oh god, actually, you know what? This is actually pretty scary now I look at it. What is that? That is not what I think of when I think of the word joy, but I guess the Twin Guard have a very different idea of joy to me. It's dipping itself in the water quite a lot, but that's okay. There's the Amusement. Is that the upside down one? No, it isn't. It's something a bit weird. I'm a little bit concerned for that back turret here. It is already quite damaged, and this battle is going to be quite tough for it to survive, I would guess. I think I'm just going to take manual control here, and we're going to aim to try and cut one of these propeller blades off, because they really don't look like they're very well defended. Yep, there goes one, and imagine that's going to really, really hamper how this thing flies, if I had to guess. So, there we go, and hopefully that has basically taken the Joy out of action, and we can start looking at the Amusement over there, because that is very scary looking. Okay, it's sitting a really, really, really long way away here. Ideally, I think we aim for... Do we aim for the base? That's probably the best here. Just try and take out the supporting part, and then the torso shouldn't be able to fire because it won't be able to aim. Okay, what appears to have happened here is that EMP has taken out the propellers that help keep this thing afloat, and now we are really, really struggling to actually stay up in the water. So we may need to just replace these here and see if we can get back to the surface, because we are otherwise fully functional. Okay, we are lurching slowly back to the surface of the water here. What I didn't realize, and the reason that this became a problem, is that the Curiosity had spawned in, and I didn't target it at all, which meant we were getting basically point-blank ranged hit, which isn't ideal. Okay, here come my missiles out of the water for the first time in quite a while. I hopefully can take out this Curiosity fairly quickly now that we're getting back up on the surface, because these rear cannons look like they're about to be able to shoot it. There we go, AI dead. That's good to see. Let's go for that Impulse's torso. See if we can just take that thing out of the sky. It doesn't look like it's going to be too difficult. It looks quite small. Yeah, we're just going to have to accept a little bit of damage for a second here. We do have laser defenses, so it shouldn't be too bad. We are taking quite a lot of damage here. Because there are just so many enemies spawned in at the same time, just so many things to worry about. It's very difficult to split our attention between all of them at all points in time. Come on, take out that mothership. We really, really need to start taking these targets out one by one. It's at 70%. It might get classed as 2 damaged fairly soon. I think it's normally about 60% that it gets classed as 2 damaged. And there we go, low health. Great. That's what we like to see. What are we shooting at now? I don't know. We seem to be having some listing problems. Have we lost the propellers again because of EMP? No. Don't really know why we're listing so much in that case, but it's fine. We seem to at some point have taken out the other big craft that was skirting around. I've forgotten the name of it now, but... there you go. It was the Impulse, I think. And that is now dead. Health below 80% and sinking. Or was that the guy that was firing lasers at us? Not really sure. Yeah, just the little Havoc drones now left. And a very scarred, but still seemingly mostly, if not fully operational cruiser. Having some trouble staying entirely level, but the weapons all seem to be firing, which is good. Never mind, that weapon has immediately stopped firing as soon as I said that. One of these drones has a really, really nasty bomb on it, and these are hard to hit. I mean, look at them moving around. That is just nightmarish. They seem to take the form of little guys on surfboards, which is cool as hell. Oh yeah, look at that guy. You are a cool little robot. However, that will not spare you. Being cool is not enough to stop me from killing you. And we really, really need to get the cruiser back for some repairs now. Almost 10% of this massive ship is... that's quite a lot of damage. And in revenge, and of course to wrap up the episode, we're going to take out the Hive. They only have a Enigma Swarm and the Hive to go, so this shouldn't be too bad. I don't think I've ever seen the Hive before, which is interesting. And, oh, look, it's spawning some little craft. We've got a Valor and a Sliver, and it's spawning some more things. It might be worth actually taking this out before it spawns too much, because I'm imagining it's just going to keep on going with that spawn rate, and immediately that turret looks like it's out, and it's AI dead. Okay. Cool, very nice. That Valor, I don't know what it does, but I'm imagining it's not nice if it gets to me, because it looks like the kind of thing that would drop a nuke on me, if you know what I mean. Well, it didn't have a nuke on board, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't have spawned one. Just these little swarming drones to go, and the main mothership is out. It seems to have pulled them in, which might make them quite a lot easier to kill, immediately speaking. Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the Twin Guard put up a pretty good fight there at the end. I was a little bit worried for a second about one of my supercruisers, but nope, we were good in the end. We pulled through, and unfortunately, we didn't get to use the Crown Battleship today, which is just unfortunate, but there were no enemies that I was really confident in sending it in against. These are all very fast enemies, and Obviously, that's its big weak spot. I imagine versus the Steel Striders, we're going to get a lot more use out of that Cram Battleship. And we can always use it in future campaigns if, we come back and do a Season 2. But anyway, that's all for this episode. Just to prove that I did spawn it in, here is... What are you shooting at? Please, stop. I think it's seeing enemy munitions all the way over there and firing at them for some reason. I clearly haven't set a range limit on those. Just to prove that I did spawn it into the campaign, here is the new battleship, and did you like it? Let me know in the comment section below, or in my Discord channel, which will be linked in the description. Once again, you can find the files for this craft on the Steam Workshop, also linked in the description below, but that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the future. Bye-bye! And as always, a huge thank you to YouTube super supporters Cody, Fox, Yoki, Tabzu, Jacob Skarstad, James Norris, SL0, Dr. Notcat, Justin B, Denise F.A. Polat, Very Bad CGI, Cody Milholland, Femboy Forces, Edwin, Marlon Goiken, Peter Holmes, Peter Seafit, CamJam135, Stug3, and Terra. And a huge thanks to all the regular tier supporters too.